Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So I really think I found the best neck pickup of all time. So I mentioned this before, I'm a huge fan of pickups. I changed the pickups on all my guitars at least once. So a few years ago, I was looking for the best pickups for my Ibanez RG. The original pickups were okay, but I found them to be too compressed and too modern for my taste. So I wanted a classic sounding high gain pickups for my Ibanez guitar. And so I narrowed all the options on the market into two options only. And these options were the Dimarzio Super Distortion or the Seymour Duncan JB, which is apparently a Jeff Beck signature model. Yeah. Now, I ended up choosing the Super Distortion, and it's not because I prefer it over the JB. Both sound absolutely insane, but because my guitar only would take the Super Distortion. If I wanted to go with the JB, I had to do modifications. So I was set for the bridge pickup. However, I don't know, what do I do with the neck pickup? For example, the JB would usually go with the 59 or the Jazz for the neck pickup. So those are famous sets. However, for the Super Distortion, I was not sure what is the classic pairing for it. And even historically, by the way, in the 50s, for example, the BAF humbuckers, they weren't making one for bridge and one for neck. They were kind of installing them at random. However, the more sophisticated luthiers knew that it is better to put the higher output one in the bridge and the lower output one in the neck. But there are actually exceptions, believe it or not. Meaning that some guitars back then had the neck pickup hotter than the bridge. So this is not a convention anymore, but when the Super Distortion came out, it was not really designed for the bridge or the neck position, but most people put it in the bridge position because it was hotter than most pickups at the time. So I did some research and found out that 3 years after the Super Distortion was released, another pickup called Super 2 by Dimarzio was introduced. So the Super Distortion came out in 1974 and the Super 2 came out in 1977. Actually, let's take a minute to appreciate Dimarzio's website because I got all this information just from their website. So please take the hint, other websites. Now, I made a whole video talking about how guitar marketing sucks. I don't want to reiterate that point, so just watch that video. So I was very focused just on the Super Distortion, so I didn't watch a lot of demos for the Super 2, and the few ones I watched didn't do it a lot of justice, to be honest. So I bought the pickups and installed them on my Ibanez RG, and I was mind blown by the Super Distortion in the bridge position. It was just classic sounding, perfect balance, a lot of clarity. It is the classic sound from the 80s and the 70s. But what really shocked me, and I was not seeing this coming at all, was the Super 2. Because to me, to be honest, it was kind of like an afterthought, like what is the neck pickup? I was like, okay, whatever, I'll just go with something that sounds fine and goes well with the Super Distortion and call it a day. But the Super 2 was something special. Especially for me, I typically don't like neck pickups. I'm very picky with neck pickups because a lot of them don't have clarity. They sound very woolly and compressed. So I really have to adjust the height to get the most clarity I can. And I don't switch between the bridge and the neck position a lot. But the Super 2 had this massive bass and resonance that is just unbelievable. And still, it maintained a lot of clarity, just like you would expect from any high quality pickup. So for example, let's talk about amps and pedals. Whenever you have a bass knob or a resonance knob and you crank it, the amp starts sounding darker. But these pickups, although they have a lot of bass and resonance, they don't sound dark. They have a lot of clarity and the treble is very balanced. So you're not getting something that is extreme. Now, this is not the best analogy, I understand that, but you see my point. These pickups just have a lot of bass that you can literally chug on them, and they have even more bass than the super distortion in the bridge. And you can play dynamically a lot of single note stuff and it will sound just fine. So I'm really happy I found out about these pickups. And I wonder what else is there, like hidden gems that no one talks about that are available on the market. So most people, including myself by the way, we tend to talk about classic pickups like PAFs, P90s, blah blah blah, but we really don't focus a lot about these pickups that were introduced in the 70s and the 80s. So let me know in the comment section below if you have tried the Super 2 before and which position you put it in. Now this is absolutely one of the best neck pickups I've ever tried, and I just wanted to share this in this video. So let me know what you think and make sure you share this video everywhere.